Ever wondered which Washington quarters are worth millions, even in bad condition? Today we're revealing the 6 rarest and most valuable state quarters that collectors are hunting for, and why these seemingly ordinary coins can be worth a fortune. First up, the 1988 Washington quarter with the Philadelphia P mint mark is one of the many coins produced during a time when the United States Mint was maintaining the long-standing traditions of the Washington quarter series, which had been in continuous production since its introduction in 1932, commemorating the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by the renowned sculptor John Flanagan, whose portrayal of Washington has become one of the most recognized and enduring images in U.S. coinage. Coinage history, featuring a profile view of the first president with detailed hair and classical features intended to convey dignity, gravitas, and a sense of American patriotism, while the reverse showcases the iconic Monticello, the Virginia estate of Thomas Jefferson, executed with architectural precision and inscribed with E pluribus unum, United States of America, and quarter dollar, a design that remained largely unchanged for decades and represents not only Jefferson's home, but a symbol of early American democracy and Enlightenment-inspired architectural elegance. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the P mint mark indicates the coin's origin, and in 1988, the Philadelphia Mint produced a total of 512,060,000 quarters, making it a high circulation year and thus ensuring that even coins in poor condition are still readily available in the marketplace, though the condition significantly affects collector value. With bad condition, referring to coins that have been heavily circulated and show extreme wear, loss of detail on Washington's hair, cheeks, and clothing folds, flattening of Monticello's columns and dome, scratches, nicks, discoloration, and possible environmental damage such as corrosion, oxidation, or staining. Despite this, the coin retains its historical significance, as it was part of the daily economy, passing through countless hands in transactions, vending machines, banks, and households across America, serving as a tangible link to late 1980s American life. During the final years of the Reagan administration, a period marked by economic growth, Cold War tension, and significant social and technological change, and while the 1988 P quarter lacks rare minting errors or notable varieties in standard circulation, minor die imperfections, slight doubling, or small die cracks could exist, providing subtle interest to the careful numismatist or coin student. Composed of copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core, the coin demonstrates the mint's commitment to durability and corrosion resistance, a critical factor for coins intended for extensive circulation. And while modern quarters can retain shine when uncirculated, heavy wear in bad condition coins removes most luster and smooths fine details, resulting in a soft, flat appearance. Yet even in this state, the coin serves as an educational tool, showing how metal alloys age, how repeated handling affects raised reliefs, and how circulation patterns can inform studies of coin wear and economic usage. Collectors often keep such coins not for monetary gain, but to complete mint mark sets, to compare wear across years, or to teach coin grading and conservation techniques, as the 1988 P quarter represents the midpoint of the late 20th century Washington quarters, bridging the era before the introduction of the state quarters program in 1999, and exemplifying traditional American coin design that remained consistent for decades. While face value remains the main market consideration for heavily worn examples, their existence allows historians, educators, and collectors to trace the life of a coin from mint to circulation to coin jars and eventually to the hands of hobbyists and numismatists, illustrating both the resilience of copper-nickel plaid coinage and the cultural significance of everyday money. Beyond mere numismatics, the 1988 P quarter can be viewed as a cultural artifact, reflecting the aesthetics, economic realities, and technological capabilities of the United States Mint at the close of the 20th century, while also offering a tangible connection to the people and places that used it, with its worn surfaces telling silent stories of commerce, transportation, and personal interaction, making it valuable not only to coin collectors, but also to educators, museums, and enthusiasts interested in the life cycle of currency, the evolution of minting processes, and the enduring symbolism of George Washington and Monticello as representations of leadership, civic responsibility, and historical continuity. Even in bad condition, such a coin allows for examination of metallurgical properties, wear patterns, die alignment, and circulation history, serving as a case study in coin longevity and resilience, while also being a testament to the mint's quality control and mass production capabilities. As millions of such coins continue to survive decades of handling with recognizable design elements intact. The 1988 P. Washington quarter, therefore, embodies a dual nature, functioning both as a medium of exchange and as a collectible object, bridging practical use and historical study, while its presence in bad condition reminds us that coins were not only instruments of commerce, but also artifacts that accrue stories, evidence of human activity, and tangible links to specific periods of American social, economic, and political history, making even the most worn specimens an essential part of understanding the broader narrative of U.S. numismatics and the Washington Quarter series in particular, which remains one of the most recognizable and enduring coin designs in the world, symbolizing both the nation's founding ideals and the everyday lives of the people who use these coins as part of their daily routines, purchases, and savings over decades, illustrating the unbroken connection between minting practices, historical events, and personal experiences, thus preserving not only monetary value but also cultural, educational, and historical significance in every single coin, regardless of condition, making the 1988 P. Washington Quarter in bad condition a fascinating subject for detailed study, comprehensive collections, and deeper appreciation of the story every coin carries through time, circulation, and human hands, ensuring that even a heavily worn example remains a valuable piece of American numismatic history, reflecting decades of use, technological design, minting expertise, and the enduring legacy of the first President of the United States, and the architectural grandeur of Monticello, which continues to inspire collectors, educators, and historians alike. The 1967 Washington Quarter, which does not bear a mint mark, was produced during a unique transitional period in United States coinage history, as the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not place a P mint mark on circulating coins at that time, was responsible for striking these quarters. And this particular issue is composed of 40% silver and 60% copper, making it one of the last silver Washington quarters minted for circulation before the Coinage Act of 1965 and subsequent removal of silver from regular quarters led to clad coinage. The obverse of the 1967 quarter features the familiar profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan in 1932, portraying him with classical dignity and realism, including intricate details in his hair, coat, and facial features, though in coins that have seen decades of circulation, especially those described as in bad condition, much of these details are worn down, with the hairlines flattened, cheek contours smoothed, and the rim showing signs of wear, minor dents, nicks, scratches, discoloration, or corrosion from years of handling and environmental exposure, making the coin appear soft and muted, in contrast to uncirculated examples. The reverse features Monticello, a Virginia home of Thomas Jefferson, designed with architectural clarity, including columns, the dome, and surrounding grounds, along with the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and quarter dollar. But in badly worn coins, the finer architectural details are often nearly indistinguishable, with the dome flattened, the columns barely visible, and the lettering sometimes partially obscured by circulation wear or surface damage. In terms of numismatic significance, the 1967 no mint mark quarter is notable for being one of the last 40% silver quarters struck for general circulation. Produced after the 1965 Coinage Act, transitioned circulating quarters to copper-nickel clad composition, which means that even in poor condition, this coin retains intrinsic metal value due to its silver content, though much of its numismatic premium depends on grade and rarity, with bad condition examples generally valued slightly above melt value, but still collected for historical and set completion purposes, as collectors often aim to obtain examples of all years in a chronological collection. The 1967 quarters were minted in very high numbers, with Philadelphia producing tens of millions, so they are common in circulation and relatively easy to find even today. And despite their wear, they serve as important historical artifacts, connecting modern collectors to a period of economic change, silver coinage transition, and Cold War-era American society. These coins circulated through daily transactions, passing through countless hands in pockets, cash registers, and banks, showing wear patterns that tell the story of decades of use, from vending machines and toll booths to coin jars and coin rolls, providing insight into circulation habits, material resilience, and coinage longevity. From a collector's perspective, even in bad condition, the 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter is valued not only for its silver content, but also for its role in completing pre-clad and silver quarter sets, offering educational value in coin grading and numismatic studies, as the wear patterns, surface condition, and remaining detail help illustrate the effects of circulation, metal composition, and minting processes over time. Historically, this coin represents a bridge between the classic silver era of American coinage and the modern clad era, and its widespread use in commerce ensures that nearly every collector can find examples for study or set building. While uncirculated or higher-grade coins carry significant premiums, even heavily worn or bad condition examples maintain cultural and educational importance, demonstrating the endurance of the Washington quarter design, the craftsmanship of the Philadelphia Mint, and the story of 1960s America, including the economic, social, and technological conditions that influenced coin production, distribution, and daily use, making this coin a vital piece of numismatic history, a tangible artifact connecting modern collectors to the past, and an excellent example of the resilience of U.S. coinage materials, showing how even the most worn coins can serve as windows into history, circulation practices, and the evolution of American money over time, while also illustrating the enduring symbolism of George Washington and Monticello, both of which reflect leadership, architecture, and national identity, ensuring that the 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter, regardless of condition, continues to hold value, interest, and relevance in the eyes of collectors, educators, historians, and anyone fascinated by the story that coins can tell, bridging everyday commerce with historical preservation and numismatic study, making it not just a piece of currency, but a piece of living history that has survived decades, passed through countless hands, and continues to be appreciated as a testament to the art, history, and culture embedded in American coinage. The 1970 Washington quarter, bearing the D mint mark from the Denver Mint, is a remarkable example of mid-20th century United States coinage, representing a period when the Washington quarter series had firmly established itself as a staple of American currency, having been in continuous production since 1932 to commemorate George Washington's bicentennial, with the design by John Flanagan enduring for decades and becoming one of the most iconic and recognizable images in U.S. numismatics, portraying Washington in a dignified left-facing profile, with intricate hair detail, a firm jawline, and a noble expression intended to convey leadership, stability, and the founding ideals of the nation. The reverse features Monticello, the Virginia home of Thomas Jefferson, depicted with neoclassical precision, including the central dome, supporting columns, and surrounding landscaping, along with the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and quarter dollar, a design that remained virtually unchanged since 1938 and symbolizes not only Jefferson's residence, but also the broader ideals of American democracy, architectural heritage, and historical continuity. Composed of a copper-nickel-clad sandwich over a pure copper core, the 1970 D quarter demonstrates durability and resistance to wear. But coins that have circulated for decades often exhibit significant signs of wear and damage, particularly those in bad condition, where the fine details of Washington's hair and coat are flattened, the facial contours worn smooth, Monticello's architectural details are blurred or partially obliterated, and surface issues such as scratches, dents, discoloration, environmental staining, or minor corrosion may be present, resulting from extensive handling in commerce, contact with other coins, storage in poor conditions, or exposure to humidity and chemical reactions over time. While heavily worn coins have limited monetary premium, they remain historically significant as tangible evidence of the daily life and economy of the 1970s United States, circulating in thousands of transactions across homes, banks, vending machines, and retail establishments, allowing historians and collectors to trace circulation patterns, study metal longevity, and understand the practical life cycle of coinage, as well as the effects of repeated handling on copper-nickel alloys. From a numismatic standpoint, the 1970 D quarter is common in circulated condition, with Denver producing over 231 million coins that year. Yet even in bad condition, these coins are valuable for set completion, educational purposes, and comparative analysis of wear and grading standards, as the coin represents a mid-century example of a standard-issue Washington quarter, bridging the era before the state quarters program and modern commemorative issues. Collectors and hobbyists often retain such examples to demonstrate the differences between mint marks, circulation wear, and metal composition, as well as to illustrate the evolution of coinage design and production techniques used by the Denver Mint, which has a long-standing reputation for consistent quality and mass production capabilities. The 1970 D quarter also provides insight into the cultural and economic context of its era, reflecting the United States' financial stability, the increasing use of coinage in everyday commerce, and the role of quarters in facilitating small transactions in a pre-digital, cash-focused society, while simultaneously offering opportunities for educational demonstration in coin grading, wear analysis, and historical research, since each coin carries subtle clues about the environments it has passed through, from pockets and cash drawers to coin jars and circulation rolls, preserving a micro-history of American life in the late 20th century. Furthermore, even in bad condition, the 1970 D quarter holds intrinsic educational, historical, and aesthetic value, as it embodies the enduring legacy of George Washington and Monticello as national symbols, the craftsmanship and metal science of the Denver Mint, and the long-standing continuity of American coinage design, making it a useful artifact for both novice collectors and experienced numismatists seeking to study wear patterns, minting practices, circulation effects, and the socioeconomic context of coins over decades, illustrating how even the most worn examples can teach lessons about material durability, minting processes, and the cultural significance of everyday money. While high-grade examples of the 1970 D quarter can carry modest premiums in the collector market, bad-condition coins continue to offer value as tangible links to history, exemplifying how millions of quarters from this period endured the rigors of circulation, how minting standards ensured recognizable design elements remained intact, and how collectors can appreciate the coins not merely for market value, but for their historical narrative, the artistry of the Flanagan design, and their representation of American identity, economy, and continuity. In summary, the 1970 D Washington quarter in bad condition is more than just a worn piece of currency. It is a window into mid-20th century America, a testament to the durability and design of U.S. coinage. Coinage, an educational tool for numismatists, and a collectible artifact that tells the story of George Washington, Monticello, the Denver Mint, and the countless hands through which it has passed, preserving a tangible connection to history and the enduring legacy of one of the United States' most iconic coins. The 1986 Washington quarter, bearing the Philadelphia P mint mark, is an example of one of the most widely recognized coins in American history, part of the long-running Washington quarter series that was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of George Washington's birth, and designed by John Flanagan, whose profile of Washington on the obverse has become an enduring symbol of American leadership, featuring finely detailed hair, facial contours, and clothing folds that convey dignity and realism, while the reverse displays Monticello, the Virginia home of Thomas Jefferson, with its neoclassical architecture, central dome, supporting columns, and surrounding landscaping, accompanied by the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and quarter dollar, a design that has remained largely unchanged since 1938, representing not just Jefferson's residence, but also the historical, architectural, and political heritage of the nation. The 1986 P quarter is composed of copper-nickel clad layers over a pure copper core, giving it a silver-like appearance while maintaining durability and resistance to corrosion, which allowed it to circulate widely throughout the United States for decades, passing through millions of hands in pockets, wallets, cash registers, vending machines, banks, and coin collections. Coins in bad condition, such as those that have been heavily circulated or poorly stored, exhibit significant wear, including flattened or smooth hair details, diminished relief on the facial features, softening of Monticello's architectural lines, scratches, dents, discoloration, environmental stains, and sometimes corrosion, which reduces their numismatic grade and market value. But even in this state, they carry historical, educational, and collector relevance, as they provide tangible evidence of the daily use, material durability, and circulation patterns of American coinage in the 1980s. In terms of numismatic significance, the 1986 P quarter is considered a common issue, with Philadelphia producing hundreds of millions of coins, making it widely available even in poor condition. Yet collectors still seek examples to complete chronological sets, study mint marks, or observe wear patterns for educational purposes, as even the most worn coin illustrates the interaction between metal composition, circulation habits, and the passage of time, showing how copper-nickel-clad coins age and how design elements endure under repeated handling. Historically, 1986, in the United States, was a period marked by technological innovation, economic growth, and social change, and coins like the Washington quarter were a constant, everyday part of commerce, serving as small but essential units of currency that facilitated daily transactions and economic exchange, while also silently carrying symbols of national pride and heritage. The Philadelphia Mint, responsible for striking the P mint mark coins, maintained high-quality standards in mass production, ensuring that even in heavy circulation, design elements remained recognizable, which is why many collectors can still identify worn examples and distinguish them from coins of other years or mints. From an educational perspective, a bad-condition 1986 P Washington quarter offers insight into metallurgy, coin wear, and minting techniques, allowing numismatists, students, and hobbyists to study how copper-nickel alloys resist corrosion, how design reliefs diminish over time, and how circulation patterns affect coins differently depending on handling, storage, and environmental exposure. While coins in pristine condition often carry higher premiums, even heavily worn 1986 P quarters serve as important tools for historical analysis, collection completion, and teaching, demonstrating the evolution of American coinage and preserving a physical connection to the late 20th century. Moreover, the 1986 P quarter exemplifies the enduring legacy of Washington's image on U.S. coinage. Coinage, Monticello's architectural symbolism, and the consistency of American minting practices, reflecting the cultural, economic, and political context of the era. And even in poor condition, it continues to be a valuable piece of numismatic history, bridging everyday commerce, historical study, and collector interest, illustrating how coins carry stories of the people who used them, the minting technology that produced them, and the society in which they circulated, making the 1986 P Washington quarter in bad condition not only a piece of currency, but also a historical artifact, an educational object, and a collectible item that connects modern enthusiasts to the past, while demonstrating the resilience of design, the craftsmanship of the Philadelphia Mint, and the enduring appeal of American coins across decades of use and handling. The 1991 Washington quarter, featuring the Philadelphia P mint mark, is a part of the enduring Washington quarter series, which was originally introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and designed by John Flanagan, whose obverse portrait of Washington has become one of the most iconic and lasting depictions of the first president of the United States, showcasing intricate details in his hair, facial features, and clothing that convey dignity, leadership, and the classical ideals of early America. While the reverse design features Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's Virginia estate, rendered with architectural precision, including the central dome, supporting columns, and surrounding landscape, along with inscriptions of E pluribus unum, United States of America, and quarter dollar. A design that had been largely consistent for decades, and serves not only as a symbol of Jefferson's home, but also as an emblem of American heritage, architectural excellence, and continuity of historical coinage tradition. The 1991 P quarter was struck in copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core, which gives the coin its familiar silver-colored appearance, while ensuring durability and resistance to wear, corrosion, and environmental effects. Although coins that have circulated for decades, particularly those described as being in bad condition, often exhibit heavy wear and tear, including flattened or smooth hair details, diminished definition in Washington's facial features and clothing, worn reliefs on Monticello's architectural elements, scratches, dents, discoloration, oxidation, surface stains, or even minor corrosion spots, which all reduce the coin's grade and collectible value, but do not entirely diminish its historical, educational, or intrinsic interest. From a numismatic perspective, the 1991 P Washington quarter is considered common, as the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of quarters during that year, yet coins in core condition are still collected by those looking to complete chronological mint mark sets, study circulation wear, or teach grading and coin conservation techniques, as even heavily circulated coins can illustrate the effects of repeated handling, environmental exposure, and long-term circulation on copper-nickel-clad coinage, offering insight into metal durability, minting quality, and design longevity. Historically, 1991 was a period of transition for the United States, with economic changes, technological advancement, and evolving cultural norms. And coins, like the Washington quarter, were a constant, facilitating everyday commerce while also symbolizing the nation's founding heritage and continuity. As the image of George Washington and Monticello on these quarters reinforced the ideals of leadership, democracy, and architectural achievement, it simultaneously served as functional currency that passed through countless hands, cash registers, vending machines, banks, and household coin jars, creating a tangible link between individuals and national history, and allowing collectors, historians, and educators to trace circulation patterns and study wear across millions of coins. Even in bad condition, the 1991 P quarter serves as a tool for education and collection completion, demonstrating mint mark differences, the resilience of coin designs over decades, and the enduring impact of Flanagan's design, which remained relevant for generations of American coins. Bridging the gap between mid-20th century coinage traditions and the coming innovations of the state quarters program that would begin in 1999. The coin's copper-nickel composition ensures that, despite heavy wear, the structural integrity of the coin remains largely intact, allowing collectors to handle and study them safely, while also providing material value, as the copper content retains some intrinsic worth, and the design elements, though worn, still communicate the historical and cultural significance of both Washington and Jefferson. Furthermore, heavily circulated 1991 P quarters act as cultural artifacts, illustrating daily life, economic transactions, and the evolution of coinage circulation in the late 20th century. Showing how coins travel through various socioeconomic settings and environments, how wear patterns emerge from consistent handling, and how even widely produced coins can retain educational, historical, and intrinsic interest. From a collecting standpoint, these coins are used for chronological and mint mark sets, educational examples, grading demonstrations, and historical displays, providing context for the evolution of U.S. coinage, metal compositions, minting techniques, and circulation patterns over decades. Even though their market value is close to face value when badly worn, their historical, educational, and numismatic importance remains significant, as they preserve a tangible link to the late 20th century, the legacy of the Philadelphia Mint, and the enduring symbolism of the first President of the United States and Monticello, making the 1991 P Washington quarter in bad condition not merely a piece of currency, but a lasting artifact of American history, numismatic study, and cultural continuity, demonstrating how coins can remain relevant and meaningful across decades, serving both as a functional tool for commerce and as a collectible object that connects modern enthusiasts to the people, places, and practices of the past. reflecting the ongoing story of American coinage, the durability of minting techniques, and the unbroken legacy of national symbols, making even the most worn examples of the 1991 P quarter a valuable addition to collections, educational programs, and historical study, highlighting the intersection of artistry, metal science, circulation, and cultural significance that coins inherently carry through time. Next up,
the 1995 Washington Quarter, featuring the Denver D mint mark, is a significant example of the long-standing Washington Quarter series, which was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, whose obverse portrait of Washington has endured as one of the most recognizable and iconic images in American coinage, portraying the first president with carefully sculpted hair, defined facial features, and clothing folds that conveyed dignity, leadership, and classical American ideals, while the reverse showcases Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's Virginia home, rendered with architectural precision, including its central dome, supporting columns, and surrounding landscaping, accompanied by inscriptions of E pluribus unum, United States of America, and quarter dollar, a design that had been largely unchanged since 1938, symbolizing Jefferson's contributions, architectural heritage, and the continuity of U.S. coinage tradition. The 1995 D quarter was struck in copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core, giving it a silver-colored appearance and ensuring durability and resistance to corrosion and wear. Yet coins in bad condition, having endured decades of circulation, often exhibit significant surface wear, including flattened or smoothed hair details on Washington's profile, diminished facial relief, worn architectural elements of Monticello, scratches, dents, discoloration, environmental staining, and sometimes minor corrosion, all of which reduce numismatic grade and market value, yet do not entirely diminish the coin's historical, educational, or intrinsic significance. From a numismatic standpoint, the 1995 D Washington Quarter is a common issue, with the Denver Mint producing hundreds of millions that year, making it widely available, even in poor condition. But collectors still seek such examples for chronological mint mark sets, educational purposes, or comparative studies of wear and circulation, as even heavily circulated coins provide insight into how copper-nickel-clad alloys respond to repeated handling, environmental exposure, and long-term circulation, allowing collectors, students, and enthusiasts to study material durability, minting quality, and the endurance of coin design. Historically, the mid-1990s in the United States were marked by economic expansion, technological innovation, and cultural change. And coins like the Washington Quarter were a constant presence in everyday commerce, passing through countless hands in pockets, cash registers, banks, vending machines, and households, creating a tangible link between ordinary Americans and the nation's history. With the imagery of Washington and Monticello reinforcing ideals of leadership, democracy, and historical continuity, while also serving a purely functional role as currency facilitating commerce. Even in bad condition, the 1995 D quarter serves as a tool for education, teaching, and collection completion, illustrating mint mark differences, circulation wear, metal composition resilience, and the longevity of design elements, as well as the Philadelphia and Denver Mint's commitment to high-quality mass production, ensuring that coins remain identifiable and functional even after decades of use. Collectors and hobbyists value such coins for completing mint mark sets, demonstrating grading techniques, studying wear patterns, and exploring historical context, as each coin's surface bears subtle evidence of its life in circulation, from the transactions it facilitated to the environments it endured, including contact with other coins, exposure to humidity, handling, and storage conditions, offering a small but significant window into late 20th century American society. Moreover, the 1995 D quarter, even in poor condition, remains relevant as a cultural reflecting both the enduring symbolism of George Washington and Monticello, and the practical role of coinage in daily life, while demonstrating the resilience of copper-nickel-clad coinage and the mint's technological and production capabilities, showing how design, material, and circulation intersect to produce coins that last for decades. From an educational and numismatic perspective, these worn coins are invaluable for demonstrating the effects of circulation, grading methods, and metal composition, allowing collectors, students, and historians to trace the physical and cultural journey of everyday money. Although the market value of badly worn 1995 D quarters is typically close to face value, their historical, educational, and intrinsic importance remains significant. Preserving a tangible connection to the late 20th century, the practices of the Denver Mint, and the enduring legacy of the Washington Quarter series, demonstrating how coins serve simultaneously as functional currency, collectible artifacts, and historical documents that link modern collectors to the people, places, and economic realities of the past, illustrating the ongoing story of American coinage, design continuity, and circulation patterns, while emphasizing how even widely produced, heavily circulated coins retain numismatic, educational, and cultural relevance, making the 1995 D Washington Quarter in bad condition a valuable example for collectors, educators, and historians seeking to understand the life cycle of U.S. coinage, the durability of copper-nickel-clad metal, and the symbolic power of Washington's portrait and Monticello, ensuring that even the most worn examples continue to convey history, craftsmanship, and national heritage across generations, and preserving a tangible link between the economy, artistry, and daily life of the United States in the 1990s. Please like and subscribe to my channel.